My favorite.
And now, for our second contestant, hailing from St. John Paul II under the advisory of Mr. Aaron Jake Barameda, let us please welcome John Kenneth Gonzalez. The stage is now yours.
Today is the new era of responsibility, quoted by 44th U.S. President Barack Obama in 2009. Truly, everything happening now is integral and the main shaper of the society we are all currently living in. As such, we come to exist in the world as flesh, so as to control and regulate societal change. However, this major accomplishment could not be done by just a single entity, but rather by multiple entities whose efforts to make a change are recognized and combined as one. Similarly, we Filipinos are expected to innovate and work in solidarity for both our own sake as citizens and our country as a whole. We are all to unite with one another towards a national goal, together with the executive, legislative, and judicial divisions of the Philippine government. Yet, one has to realize that the concept of unity is broad and has to be pondered upon by asking the following question. First, what is the significance of unity in assuring a more secured and sustainable future? Second, what are the different factors that may influence the purpose and effectivity of unity among us Filipinos? Lastly, in what ways can we express our togetherness for the betterment of our own country? Back in the summer days of my childhood, I once joined a children's brew workshop in a famous fast food chain. During one of our sessions, we were tasked by our proctor to group ourselves into 5 and create our own cheer for the fast food chain as our activity. As such, I noticed that we were having a hard time to approach one another and brainstorm for ideas, which could have led to a successfully finished output. And then after the activity, we discussed with the teacher what happened, and we were advised to try again. But this time, we must learn not to be shy and assert ourselves for our own betterment. So, we did our best on the next activity, and eventually, we won and got the first prize. From this experience, I realized the importance of what we call the 3 C's: cooperation, coordination, and communication. These elements of success are highly essential in every team who desire to achieve a certain goal, whether for the betterment of the group itself or for the sake of somebody else, in the extent of the group's concern. In a particular sense, when every constituent of a team cooperates with one another, together with the leader in an organized manner, and when proper communication is maintained, their mission and vision to resolve a conflict of interest is fulfilled in success. This concept can be applied to a holistic aspect, the Philippines to be precise. Our country has been into countless, endless, heavily disputed, and unresolved issues in the social, economic, and political fields. In fact, the Human Rights Watch enumerated in mid-2020 the different conflicts the country is facing nowadays, namely, the controversial war on drugs with the previous administration, political threats, killings and harassments, oppression on the press, reinstallation of death penalty, And finally, the COVID-19 pandemic. On the other hand, the more recent problems including the massive oil price hike in the world market due to the Russia-Ukraine war are yet to be fixed, depending on the amount of planning and preparation that has to be done. Thus, on the basis on the concept of three C's, unity among the Filipino citizens and the national government has the immense power to transform 110 million Filipinos, 7,641 islands, 17 regions, and the national government lies in the heart of the Philippine archipelago. We are all separated by both land and water. But bear in mind, the sky has no limits. And when there is within us the eagerness and passion to dream for the best, to work as one in all aspects, and to make the Philippines remarkable again in history, everything is possible. In order to achieve solidarity in our country, I, as the President, will be focusing on implementing the aforementioned three C's, in which its elements are arranged accordingly for everyone to follow. First of all, communication. This element is the most important among the three C's, as it is the basis of coordination and cooperation among the government and the people, as well as boosting the ability of decision-making, managerial efficiency, and the morale of the constituents of the ever-growing society. Communication has the ability to make us interconnected, like a jigsaw puzzle, for us to meet minds and become aware of every change the nation is subjected to. As I mentioned a while ago, our people are physically divided into several regions by both land and water. But because of modernization, communication is no longer a big concern. That is why Susan Cooper, a social media enthusiast and strategist, once said, "Social media is a community effort. Everyone is an asset." Together with television broadcasting, it provides two-way communication to everyone, accommodating distribution of relevant and reliable information and ideas that have the potential to contribute in shaping our country. Take for example, the ABS-CBN, Philippines' #1 television and radio broadcasting network. For almost 7 decades, it has served as our mainstream medium of communication, and it has been a commercial and household utility for first-hand information about news and current events. This network had the power to reach every part of the country, including the remote areas, upholding the passion of keeping the citizens updated of what is happening around in the name of journalism. Unfortunately, their public service has come to an end due to a cease and desist order by the previous administration, causing the company to lose its franchise and broadcasting frequency. Thanks to the power of social media, ABS-CBN has had the opportunity to continue its service to Filipinos without boundaries. Nevertheless, alongside its progress in the social web, it's the sacrificing of its regional stations that used to reach out to the isolated areas, which solely depended on their ability to penetrate in micro-societies, not only for journalism alone, but also for charitable causes and other assistances, both by the government and the network itself. Therefore, my main objective in terms of communication is to grant ABS-CBN, as well as other deserving broadcasting networks, the franchise it has lost from the hands of greed. We must allow the continuation and extension of their service to public, because the unification of every Filipino within the nation will never be possible without the power of communication. Secondly, coordination. Supposing we have now made it possible for ABS-CBN to regain their franchise, and ideas, insights, suggestions, and concerns of the citizens are being raised with their help, we would actually want to filter them out to be studied by the legislative and executive sectors of the government. This should be possible if we ensure proper organization especially within the government, considering we must meet the expectations of the people in ensuring a safe, progressive, sustainable, and united society. We no longer want to experience again what happened during the pandemic times. We were heavily disorganized, creating split-second decisions without proper preparation and consultation, which caused us to fail and unwillingly permit the undying practices of graft and corruption. We need more laws that will curtail and resolve the issues of poverty, lack of education, drug or substance abuse, vice, crime, and unemployment, while preserving and prioritizing the human rights of the Filipinos. We, the government, need to implement our laws in a highly organized manner, in a way that our people can follow wholeheartedly and without hesitation, in a way that we can make them intact before we leave our traces for the future generations. We must also fully understand that our country has been morbidly subjected to billion and trillion pesos worth of debts since COVID-19 struck our economy into grave debts. We're gonna totally rely on international funds as our country, as well as others, is still yet to recover from the damages the ongoing pandemic has inflicted. Thus, we need to ensure that our national government, the national reserves rather, suffice the needs of all Filipinos. Everyone must be given providence, and no one must be left behind. We need to make sure that before we take every step towards the success and development of the entire nation, we are well coordinated in innovating laws, maintaining good communication with the people and other nations, and visualizing our plans for the sake of our beloved country. Lastly, cooperation. Now that we have secured unbreakable communication and apparent coordination between the people and the government, it is now the time to persuade our citizens to bear with the government in envisioning peace and order within the borders of our community and our country. I, your president, am pleading to and encouraging you to cooperate with me and give me the inspiration to do the work with you. Having inspired by Abraham Lincoln, we do believe that this government that we have is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I have so many plans for the betterment of our country, but I do believe that I can do it all with you, my dear country. With God's guidance and love forever, we can achieve what we are aiming for. We are the Philippines. We are free to work in unison. We are the democracy. My fellow Filipino citizens, I am standing in front of you to press on the need for your full attention and support as we gather here today to seal our pact of reinstating our economy and securing a better and sustainable future for all. With you having me elected as the new president of our country, it has come to my intention to bring back our enthusiasm to dream again, not only for ourselves, but also for the entire nation and the whole world. As the late US President John F. Kennedy quoted in his speech, "We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, and oppose any foe, to assure the survival and success of liberty." We may have lost everything from the 2-year lockdown, but with your cooperation, coordination, and our communication, we are able to shine light even among the darkest corners of our nation and prove to other countries that we are not inferior nor to be colonized again, but we can be a global power, a highly indispensable asset that should lead to create a positive difference mankind will ever experience. No man is an island, as the saying goes. Let us all unite in thoughts, in words, and in actions, and become one mind, one heart, and one Filipino. Thank you, and good day to everyone.
Wala pong 10 minutes.
Go anak ko.
A very thought-evoking, very concise, very well constructed, truly Commander-in-Chief material. A round of applause to you, Mr. Gonzalez. Pero sabihin ko na ito masyado mong ginalingan. Thank you for your participation.